Hello. I thought I'd come on here and give a little life update. Um, it's been like my videos have been so inconsistent the last, I don't know, couple of months, few months. I kind of feel like since the new year, I remember like at the beginning of the year, I'm like, I'm going to try to make more videos, just more about my personal life. And, at the time I thought I was going to keep up with the pace at which I was making videos, which was almost every day of the week, weekdays. And that's when I just like completely burnt out. I realized I haven't taken like a really good break. I've taken like breaks off of coaching, a couple weeks here and there for travel, but like as far as videos go, I haven't taken more than a couple of weeks off. And you would think like videos aren't very time consuming and they're not hard to make. They're just this like task. It's like I don't want to relate it to like brushing your teeth or showering, but sort of it is. It's just something that I felt like I always had to do. I'm like, oh, I gotta get in a video when I'm gonna have time, or oh, what should I talk about today? And I just was like, I have made enough videos that I think we're good. I think I've covered them. I'm not saying I'm stopping the channel or I'm not making any more videos, but I just gave myself permission to not make as many. And I felt guilty at first, like, oh, but I know it really, based off feedback that people send me, it really helps them. And oh, I feel bad if I'm not. And I finally was just like, there's plenty out there, plenty of not just my own videos, but plenty of other amazing, wonderful coaches putting out wonderful content that people survived without my videos. But I thought it could be nice to come on here. I thought about doing a live, and I thought probably not many people would hop on there because I haven't been on here very much. So I'm starting with the video. I don't really have a topic. Let's see if I can think of something off the top of my head to talk about based off of maybe some clients that I spoke with today. I know what I could talk about. So the importance of doing both rehabilitation and rewiring. If you're only doing one, you're not going to get very far. So if you're just focusing on eating more food, okay, you're just focusing on getting more food in and you're not paying any attention to challenging any certain types of food other than quantities, you're still eating the sweet potatoes, you're still eating the rice cakes, you're still eating the oatmeal, you're still eating the fill in the blank, right? You're just eating way more of it and you're putting on weight because you're eating more food and you are not feeling much freer, right? You're just not quite feeling like a lot of benefits are coming from this. And also you're incredibly uncomfortable in your body because your brain hasn't caught up to the changes. You can only stay in that cycle for so long before you want to give up. Now, if you're only focusing on rewiring, essentially like challenging certain foods, your fear foods, you can do that and eat even less than you were eating before you started recovery, right? Depending on where you're at in recovery and how much you were eating, you could start focusing on eating the pizza and the cheeseburgers and the cold cereal and the white bread and all the things, and actually overall be eating less food. And if you're doing that, you might be like, gosh, I feel like I should be rewiring. Like I'm doing all these things. Every time I eat, I'm eating something challenging. I feel like I should be rewiring, but why do I not feel like I'm getting anywhere? Same thing. You can only stay in that cycle for so long. The real magic happens. Let's say this loud and clear for people in the back. The real magic happens when you eat a lot of food and a lot of food that challenges you. Okay, marry those two together, and that is where the rewiring that actually sticks and it starts to actually feel like your brain is changing happens. So if you're that person and you're like, gosh, maybe I need to look at that. Maybe I do need to see where am I falling short. Maybe it's both. Maybe you're not challenging a lot of food like that's different and challenging. And also, sorry, I had a call coming in. And also, maybe you're just overall not eating as much as you think you are. Maybe you're eating high volume food that looks like a ton of food, but it's just really not a lot. High volume, low density food. And so be really honest with yourself. It's not easy to be honest with yourself in recovery for a lot of reasons. One, because it's just not easy ever to look at your own faults outside of recovery or in recovery and have to like be responsible and accountable to changing them. It's the worst. But also when you have an eating disorder, you kind of sometimes become disillusioned. You sometimes get a little bit denial, or maybe just kind of like so immersed in the disorder that you're not seeing it. So if you feel like you're not able to identify, or you're struggling to kind of be completely honest with yourself, ask for feedback from people. Ask for feedback from your roommate or your spouse or your sibling or your parent, depending on wherever you are. If you have someone that's like kind of closely supporting you in your recovery, ask for feedback. You're not going to want to hear it. Of course you're not, but it's going to be the truth because these people care about you. And if you are living by yourself, you've got to be really, really strong and really brave and look at where where are the holes that are kind of like you're falling through the gaps here, you're overlooking things. Be really honest. And to start with, like, am I eating to fullness? Am I eating until I'm fully, like, my stomach is really pretty packed with food, right? Till it's almost kind of borderline uncomfortable. Am I eating what I want? Am I eating what I truly crave and want? Or am I filling up on filler food and then I'm letting myself have the good stuff? Are you doing that? If you are, stop. Go straight for the things you want and eat them in the quantities that you want. Eat them until you actually feel really full. And then if you're still wanting to eat after you feel really full, welcome to recovery, because that's basically how it goes. And you just have to roll with that. You have to do your best. That's a question I get asked all the time. What do I do when I feel physically full, but I'm still thinking about food? And I always say, do your best. And by do your best, I don't mean wait 8 hours to eat again. That's not what I'm saying when I say do your best. I mean, like, usually 15, 20 minutes later, maybe you're still kind of full, but you're not so full you can't take another bite of food. So if you're really still thinking of food when you're full, give it a few minutes and then reevaluate. Look and be like, okay, I could probably eat some more now. Is this like gonna feel super wonderful and great? Maybe not, probably not, but I'm gonna be tackling my mental hunger and doing some good rewiring because I need to overcome my fear of eating on a full stomach or eating when I have food in my stomach. Okay, so those are things that you want to start with. Am I eating until I feel full? And am I eating what it is that I in fact actually want? Start there. And then if you feel like you're struggling to be honest with yourself, reach out for help and ask people for support and ask them for their honest opinion. What do you think? Now this could be dangerous. As I'm saying this, I'm thinking of in context to this client who has a spouse who totally gets it and is like, eat more. So that, in that case, that would work. However, if you're living with someone who does not understand and will never understand the appetite of a person who's in recovery, this may not be a very effective tool. That would be hard. And that's actually where a coach should be really helpful. And this is not meant to be circling around back to like putting in a plug for a coach. Not at all. But in all honesty, like that is a lot of what the coaching that I do is helping people to be really honest and kind of like highlighting the things that they're falling short on, that they did not want to look at. They didn't want to address those fears. They don't want to talk about them, but those are the things that are going to get you to that place of full recovery. So with that, so good to talk to you. I'm not making any promises. I don't know when I'm going to be back on here, but today at a random time, it's like, I don't even know what time it is. It's almost 5. My house is totally quiet. Hazel's napping, which means she won't fall asleep till midnight. And everyone who's listening to this is going to be like, Becky, remember when you're complaining about how she doesn't go to bed till midnight? Probably because she's napping at 5 o'clock. You're right, probably. But I cannot get her to take a nap at a normal time. It's always like 4 or 5 in the afternoon she falls asleep, and then it's like the most impossible thing to wake her up. And so I'm just rolling with this. I'm just allowing it to happen, and it's really hard, and I hope eventually she gets back on a normal schedule. But she's sleeping. So she's sleeping. All my kids are somewhere, I don't know where, with friends, and my husband's not home, and it's like, I don't want to do laundry. I don't want to start making dinner. I don't want to clean anything. I don't have any good books to read right now. I think I'll make a video. So here you are. Anyways, my husband actually is calling now. So I'm going to end this video and talk to you hopefully soon. All right, bye.